In Matthew chapter 21, verse 33, Jesus Christ said, "Hear another parable. There was a certain householder," that's God the Father, all right? Verse 33, there was a certain householder, that's God the Father, which planted a vineyard. The vineyard is Israel. All right? If you remember Isaiah chapter 5, I'm going to read it for you. Let me get it. In Isaiah chapter 5, he says, "Now I will sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard." His vineyard. My well-beloved, that's the Son. "My well-beloved hath a vineyard in a very fruitful hill. And he fenced it and gathered out the stones there." He fenced it. He put a hedge around it. "And he gathered out the stones thereof." You know what that is? I'm from northern Maine, okay? And in northern Maine is potato country. And northern Maine is just littered with stones. Stones everywhere. That's why you ride around New England, you see all those stone walls everywhere, because they had to remove the stones out of the field so that they could produce fruit, so that they could produce apples. Even in Connecticut, you see those stone walls all over the place, and you wonder, who put those there? Well, you know what? While they were taking the stones out of the field, they decided to put them to good use. So they made their boundary lines with those stones. And that's why they're everywhere. But they removed the stones out so that it could be fruitful land. That's what God, he says, "I did this for you, Israel. I took the stones out of your midst. I took away every hindrance in your life that would have enabled you to produce the kind of fruit that I wanted from you." That's what God is saying. And if you want to read the rest of this in Isaiah 5, there's like 2 verses, but Isaiah chapter 5, just keep your finger in Matthew 21. "And he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof and planted it with the choicest vine." He gave it the very best there is. "And he built a tower in the midst of it." A tower speaks of being established. The established religion of the great Jehovah God of Israel. He established it with a tower in the midst of it. "And he made a winepress therein." He expected fruit. He expected so much fruit, he put a winepress in there so that they could press out the great wine that they were supposed to, as a nation, produce for God, spiritually. "And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes." Oh man, this is not good. I've done everything for you, Israel. I've given you the best of everything I had. And you were supposed to bring forth grapes. And it says in verse 2, "and brought forth wild grapes." And now God says, "And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judea, judge, I pray you, between me and my vineyard." He tells the leaders, look, you judge between me. Look what I've done, and look at what Israel, judge between me and them. Who's right and who's wrong? Look what I did, and look what they're producing in their lives. Verse 4, "What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, it brought forth wild grapes. And now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. And I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain not. Put no rain upon it. For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel." There's where you identify the vineyard. It's the house of Israel. And God was not pleased with them. And in Matthew chapter 21, Jesus Christ is referring back to Isaiah chapter 5. All right, Matthew chapter 21. Verse 33, "Hear another parable. There was a certain householder," that's God, "which planted a vineyard." We just identified the vineyard in Isaiah chapter 5. "And hedged it round about." He put a fence about to keep the enemies out. That's what he did. He made every provision for Israel that could possibly have been made. There was no reason they couldn't produce good grapes. All right, and he hedged it round about. Notice. Oh, by the way, that hedging round about, you know what that is also? That's the middle wall of partition. That separated Israel from everyone else. He hedged it. He made a middle wall between them and everyone else, so they'd have no excuse. And he digged a wine press in it. We just read that. He gave it every opportunity to bear good fruit.